I'm on the show. I'm on the show right now. Okay.
We're on. Yeah, we're on.
We're on.
Welcome to the
Oh, I know that.
Further
That's what I
adventure.
want you to have. Okay, but I'll take care of you. I'll get it in the morning.
Further Adventures of Wild
Yeah.
Bob and Ronnie, the continuing saga.
I will. Okay.
Evil triumphing over good, or something like that. This is Bob Andrews over here, way over here.
Right. Wild Bob. In person.
Bob Andrews.
Right.
This is Mr.
Usually,
R.L. Henson,
In person.
also known as the Gray Ghost.
Right.
And I'm Ronnie. I'm the good-looking one.
Right.
Who's still awake
All right.
after at least 12, 14 hours.
do you get paid the same whenever you sit over and sleep?
I must, because I don't make
Right.
no money one way or the other.
Alrighty. Well, away we go. How
Yeah.
is everything?
I went down to Diggers today and got me 3 tanks of 40-pound tanks and one 30-pound tank, and hit burn so good. You know, them are little tanks actually.
Well, you know, that's amazing. In spite of global warming, you're still going down and
Yeah.
buying that propane.
But them little tanks actually burn better than the big tanks. When you get about out one of them big tanks, it starts stinking.
Right.
But anyway, it's got that there great aroma of hickory, or
Right.
whatever you decide to get down it.
But what flavor did you get?
I tried to get the neutral base. I
Right.
didn't want to conflict with all my rose bushes and
Right.
stuff. So
Okay.
down there in the middle of the road in Sawmill Holler, 5625444.
5444. That's
5444.
Wilson's propane.
Oh, we got that over with now.
Right. Okay. Well, you know, I go down there and that's where I get all my propane from too, you know. And mine, you know, you can run right on out. And I don't smoke or anything. I got pretty good sense of smell, but I don't ever smell mine.
I think we usually buy it by the truckload anymore. They've
Propane?
with all them tanks we've gathered up, I guess we got 12 or 15.
I have too, but I mean, do you get the tanks filled or do you order a truck?
No, we just take the tanks down.
Oh, okay.
The truck we're hauling them on is about
Yeah.
loaded. Is
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
know what you
saying.
mean.
Yeah, we that tow motor runs on propane, of course, and we use a little bit there in the shop for heat and whatever, knock the chill off.
Right.
Anyhow, fellas, been an interesting day. I swear if I didn't know better, I believe the president in chief, I heard him give a speech today, was about, I figured it was about 15 to 17 minutes, I believe, but they said it's 20 minutes.
Listen to him over
Well,
30 seconds.
I didn't, it had to been him, but it didn't look like him. His hair, he's let it grow out and got it dyed blonde, and he's wearing pantsuits.
That wasn't the president, that's the future president.
Oh, was that it? Well,
Oh, okay.
well, but to listen to it, it sounded exactly the same.
Sure.
It was the same wording and whatever. And I'll have to look again, but I swear I thought it was Obama in a pantsuit with a wig on.
Right.
I mean, from the way the speech went, and I really
You don't think they had been corresponding with one another?
by email.
Possibly.
Well, no, I don't believe he wouldn't be emailing unless it was .gov. He wouldn't email to .com or .org or nothing like that. You know, him being the president, you know, he knows the difference.
Right, sure.
Yeah, he sure does. But anyhow, I thought that was interesting. And I listened to the whole thing, but I watched a little too. And there was 2 or 3 questions asked. Some of them were a waste of time. Well, I guess there's all a waste of time. But I noticed that when the answer came, it was like they was reading the answer off of a paper. Like,
Well, the questions are already predetermined.
okay, that makes sense then, because that person asked the question, and President Clinton, Hillary, looked down and read the answer right off of her paper.
Right.
And I hardly ever, I don't know that I ever saw her look. She may have looked at the camera, but I don't believe she did. If she did, it was only for a second or two. It was always that Obama thing, you know, left, right,
she
left,
didn't look
right.
at the camera directly.
Well,
That's like looking
she
you in the
figured
eye.
that they would discover that they had made an error.
Young
That
she
she
is.
was really Jihadi Joe.
well, yeah, I see. It's on the monitor over here, and it's going to be the big news. But
No, me,
it
I'm
didn't-
voting against everybody from now on.
Well, I believe you got the right idea. But anyhow,
Never
what she
blame
basically
Republicans to run
said.
a rhino if they run anybody.
Well,
And they get up there,
It's-
didn't we go all out our way to get them people elected, and now they done throwed in the
yeah, throw it in
towel
the towel,
on
buddy.
everything?
They
Quit.
threw the towel in for the first round.
Well,
On everything.
The only thing right now, and I don't foresee it happen, is Dr. Carson. I don't think he'll get
no.
nominated
No, they already,
because he's
they
too.
already
He
stand
can't
embarked.
get elected.
They've
I
already,
think
well,
he'd make a great
I
president.
think
but
he'd make a
can't
great
get elected.
president.
well, they've already embarked on the gotcha.
Well, they're done trying to get him.
Yeah.
They
Uh,
done got him.
I'll-
He is too honest to get elected. You've got to learn how to lie strategically to get elected.
Right.
I agree. And that goes from one end to the other. But Hillary basically told them that she's sending them emails, the ones that she wanted them to have,
Right.
and the others she deleted them.
Right.
And she also told them that they was not going to look into her server.
Right.
And I believe
She
when
did?
well, yeah, she said that they're not going to look into that server. It's off limits.
Well,
Well, you know what that means.
You
But-
you can do anything and get elected, but
But
that ought to be enough to outlaw her right there.
I believe whenever she turned around and walked off, I believe she said, "Kiss my something or another." I couldn't understand it. Maybe
I think you're
I believe
right.
what she said.
Well, that's what the whole speech was about, kiss my rear end.
Somewhere thereabouts. But
Yeah.
if
Let me get
if-
Bob in the picture.
if you come on over, Bob.
That's an improvement.
Why?
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah, a little bit more. There you go. You're looking good.
Looking good in the neighborhood.
I'll tell you what. Some people right around here, they get a cup of coffee and a mug. It's got a handle on it and everything.
Oh, you mean that?
Notice I got that
That's
down at
unusual.
the Starvation Army for
You
a
did.
quarter before they
You
went
did.
out of business.
Well,
and it ain't never been washed. It's got
Well,
its own
You
character.
run it if you wash it.
Well, you
reckon
know,
it's-
coffee
it's-
cup's kind of like a coffee pot.
I
You
reckon.
wash a coffee pot, it don't make coffee worth a hoot.
Well, what you got to do? Just add hot water to this when you get coffee.
Yeah.
It saves money.
This is kind of a preemptive strike, so I won't do like I
Yeah.
done last week.
Right.
Well, them suckers dosed me good last week. I tell you.
You was a
what.
feeling good. You wasn't feeling
No,
no
I
pain.
just wasn't feeling. I just in another world.
Yeah.
I swear, I didn't know I went to sleep and you was talking to me after you told me.
Oh yeah, you
I
got
know I dozed off for a minute, but I didn't think I slept for a while.
about 15 minutes.
And I come
is all.
down here and the show was about half over when I woke up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
boy.
I was kind of worried. I went home. I wasn't functioning right.
Well,
Every time I stopped moving, I went to sleep.
Your oil pressure was down.
I
is what
reckon it was.
Mr. Your pump.
you've got people up there who absolutely consider themselves above the law.
Oh yeah.
They're smarter than
Don't
anybody
pertain
else.
to us.
And they're entitled to more than anybody else has, you know. And there Hillary Clinton is collecting over $1 billion off of countries that deny women their rights, and then she is the champion of women's rights. And you take what she got from Saudi Arabia, from Kuwait, or whatever they call it, from your other countries that specifically deny women their rights. She is a liar,
Well,
hypocrite.
this has been brought up, and I heard the ex-president Clinton or whatever, say that they done more good than they had bad. Well, it seems to me like they ought to go back maybe and kind of look at the hypocritical oath where it says do no harm. And he said they'd done less harm than they'd done more good than they'd done harm.
Well, that ain't what we elected them to do, is
We
it?
didn't elect them
Their
to.
philosophy is the end justifies the means.
That's what it boils down to. Sure does. But this is going to be interesting. Of course, there's a large percentage of the population, and I'm going to say the voting population and even the non-voting population, that buys in to everything she says.
Yeah.
And they don't actually understand what she did say.
Right.
But basically, if you just break it down and take all the hoopla out of it, and she repeated herself, I'm going to say 5 or 6 times on the story. She kept repeating it, and she kept using that word. I can't think of it now, but it's always legal what she did. It don't matter whether it's right or wrong, but she says it's legal, and there's some people says it's not legal. But anyhow, her main excuse that she gave was the fact that she had to carry 2 telephones in order to keep it separate. That sounds like a tremendous inconvenience for somebody, to carry 2 phones.
I know a fella does.
I know some fellas that does that.
Wouldn't go into but one unit, right?
Well, no, she's tried to cover this thing by saying that the largest percentage of the people she called, their emails was .gov, so she figured that was all covered and protected. But then they went into, she put this thing out there that in her personal emails was the plans for the daughter's wedding and different things, whatever, which I don't doubt that wasn't there. But still yet, I'll guarantee you, in my opinion, from what I've seen, from politicians and everything else, there's a ton of stuff in there. Well, let me back up and say this. At her discretion, and she stated this 2 or 3 times, that it's at a elected officials, it's at their discretion as to what they protect or don't protect, or what they send in, or just like what she's talking about, these emails. It's to her discretion what she considers.
No, it's the government's discretion as to what is personal and what is governmental. It's not hers.
But she's making that decision.
Oh yeah. That's the reason she kept used her own server, so she could send in only what she wanted to.
And only
she'll get by with this.
Oh, she'll get by with. Already has. She could have got by with it without even saying anything.
The only thing that I ever expect local city officials to do is obey the law, and they don't do it, and it goes all the way up to.
Well, now they indicted General Petraeus because he let his biographer, who happened to be his lover,
concubine,
have access to some of his personal classified files for his biography. All right, they charged him and he pled guilty. Now, she left classified information on an unprotected server.
There's another thing.
She's guilty of the same thing.
There's another thing that she said that's, to me, was deceptive. She said that this real estate, this property, being her server where it sits, is protected by the Secret Service. If you are going to access her emails, you're not going to go in there and knock on the door. You're going to do it through the computer.
Well, you're
going to hack it.
In Afghanistan or somewhere in Nigeria or somewhere that hack into it.
Well, you think of it this way: if she hides that much on email, imagine what she's whispering around in back alleys and stuff.
Well,
even I got enough sense. If I was going to do something real low down, I'd get off in the corner where nobody couldn't hear me and turn the water on and the radio and get where the cars is running and then say, "Hey, about $50.
How much? How much is
it? Reminds me somewhat of an incident that happened to me.
Figures.
At a restaurant, and one night I looked, and lo and behold, here come this streaker to my restaurant. He's about 47, 48 years old, maybe 50, you know.
He wasn't
Here
no
he come
sight
with
to see then, was
Yeah,
he?
here he come a bobbing up through there, you know, streaking.
Yeah.
So I barred him from coming on back on the property. So he caught me uptown one day. He says, Barbara, how come you won't let me come back out there? He says, I'm not going to streak anymore. I said, look. I said, streaking was not all that bad. I said, I'm wondering what you're going to do as an encore. What are you going to do to top that? Well, I wonder what Hillary Clinton's going to do to top this. You know, she's got away with all this stuff all of her years, so she's going to do something even worse than this.
Well, fellas, this is just something that somebody has uncovered.
Clinton said her server would remain private. She said she had exchanged 60,000 emails, half of which were personal and were discarded. Yeah. Yeah, they're all personal if they incriminate you or go bad on your campaign. What gets me is why in the world that we don't behead some of these people. I mean, they did it to poor old...
Where is Jihadi John when we need him?
Where is the guillotine they used on poor old Marie Antoinette? All she said was let them eat cake.
Right, yeah. That was bad enough back then to get beheaded.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we import Jihadi John over here to take care of them?
Well, fellas, there's a lot of stuff going on. Everything out here that you see or hear
I guess I'll go to sleep now.
There's something behind it.
Yeah.
There's something behind it.
Right.
It's like that guy from up there in the Northeast that they've turned on that, what was it, over his being buddies with this rich dentist.
Yeah, that's our senator.
Yeah, that senator. Okay, he was fine and dandy, and this has went on for a long time. But when
he made the remarks about Obama.
Yeah, whenever he didn't get on board with Obama, that was it. It's kind of like the guy that was over the FBI for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
J.
Edgar Hoover. I believe they named the Hoover Dam after him, didn't they?
No, that's his cousin.
But anyhow, he had something on everybody.
That's the way he stays alone, too.
That's right.
That's kind of like our local money counter down here, I believe.
I'll tell you, they was a...
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. We had a guy here locally, and right now he's not in politics.
I bet I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. What he would do for you, and this is a lot of politicians have got a way to do this. They don't ask you a favor.
Right.
They do you a favor.
Right.
They do you some little something. I don't care. They just take you to dinner.
Right.
And then they'll do you another little favor. And all these favors they're doing you, it ain't coming out of their pocket. They're doing it with taxpayer money.
Right.
They'll get you a little contract or a little bid, and it's probably a $100 job, and you get $500 out of it. And they do this, and they do this. They do this 3 or 4 times. That's what I always said. They don't catch you with the big hook. They catch you with all them little hooks. And that's when they reel you in.
That's when they mark death by 1,000 cuts.
Death by 1,000 cuts. But you'd be surprised, the people around here that have been hooked in on this, they can't open their mouth.
Right.
And
I found that out, people are afraid to do anything here because they either work for the government, they got a relative that works for the government, or they're indebted to them.
That's about the size of it. And
well, this don't go that way, do they?
This has gone on forever from what I can understand.
Right.
And back years ago, I never had time to keep up with this politics thing.
Right.
It was work from 4 o'clock in the morning till 10 at night. It's just as hard as you could go to try to, I don't know what you call it, chase that American dream.
Looks like Hillary's jumped on the Senate now for writing a letter to Iran. That'll get people's mind off this email.
Yeah, she got on that to begin with. all them senators done, in my opinion, was let Iran be on notice that this crap of a deal that they're talking about, that it has to go by the Congress.
It has to go through Senate. They have to approve all treaties.
Okay, but the president, he's done sidesteps the Constitution.
Several
and
times.
chances are that he'll enter into this agreement. If Congress won't accept it, he'll enter into it by executive order, by which the next president, well, we're talking almost, what, 22 months now?
Right.
21, 22 months?
And if we
Right
get enough
now.
Mexicans to vote, it may be 22 years.
22 months before he's out. January 20th of 2018 is when
17.
he's out.
16, 17.
18.
18,
No,
16,
17.
17.
16 is when he runs.
Yeah, he runs.
Or 20th, in the 20th of January when he goes out.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, but it's in 17.
He runs
The
next
17th.
election's in 16, and then
Yeah.
they swear him in on 17.
Well, fellas, I think we're in deep, deep stink.
I think we've
All
been there
over
for
the
a while.
world.
My boots
Yeah.
is about to run full.
Well, getting off of Hillary, which
Okay.
there's no
Well,
way
that
in the
should be a
world.
given, getting
There's
over
no
Well-
way in the world to, I've said all along, you can polish a turd and it'll shine like gold.
Yeah.
But when you get through, it's still a turd. Well, that's the way Hillary Clinton is. You can polish her up and clean her up, but she's still Hillary Clinton when you get through.
And she's getting harder to polish.
Right, yeah, that's true. But now, as far as Iran is concerned, anybody with common sense knows that you do not negotiate with those people from a weakened position, okay? They also know you do not negotiate with these people even from an equality position. That the only way you can get what needs to be done is to not to negotiate, but to go in there from a position of strength. If I were put into office as president today, the first thing I would do, I'd call in all my military advisors, tell me what we need to beat their rear end and take away their nuclear. What do we need? Do we need to reactivate a carrier group? Whatever we need to do, let's do. Now, I'm not talking about going in there and tit for tat, hit them a little bit. We can't do this, we can't do that. I want an all-out campaign. You tell me what we need. As far as airplanes, battleships, aircraft carriers, tanks, manpower, whatever it is, and I'm going to get it when we come to a consensus here, and I want it done in 5 days. So you already have that information available. And then I would tell Iran, look, no negotiation. We're going to give you a week to pull your troops out of Lebanon, pull them out of Libya, to pull them out of Iraq, to quit funding Hezbollah, to come into the family of nations, or we're going to make a parking lot out of Tehran.
Well, where we messed up was in 2009, at the very beginning of the Arab Spring. Only the Persians are not Arabs.
Yeah, I know that.
The people there in Tehran thought they had a new leader in the West, and they'd get support to overthrow that regime. And we said, no, we can't fool with that. We don't want to interfere in Middle Eastern politics.
Right.
And we gone and stuck our nose and everything else. Now, old Gaddafi, as sorry as he was, he bellied up to the bar and said, I ain't going to do no more of this stuff, you leave me alone.
Right.
And Bush left him alone, and then Obama goes over there, and look what
like
a shape
I
they're
say,
in now.
Gaddafi, Daffy Duck, whatever you want to call him, see, he didn't realize that you do not negotiate from a position of weakness with the Muslims. And so when he tried to negotiate with Obama and Hillary, it's the same thing as negotiating with the Muslims.
Well, we throwed away the opportunity we had in Iran, and we we undermined Gaddafi, and then we had the Mubarak in Egypt. He was a stable
leader.
Yeah, and he was going our way.
A country
Look,
of what, 100 and some million?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you can't pick the leaders that you want all the time, but if you can find one that will go along with you, no matter how sorry they are, we're not running their country, we're running our country. You at least leave them alone. You don't go in there and throw them out and then get in the Arab Brotherhood, Muslim Brotherhood in there in the place of it. We have had some of the most inept leadership, and they throw off on poor old George W.
Well, look, Hillary
Look what
Clinton.
we've had going on over
Hillary
since.
Clinton engineered a absolute failure in Libya. That was her doings. I'm not talking about the
Benghazi?
consulate, Benghazi. I'm talking about the entire country. She engineered the giving of that to ISIS. She engineered also the demise of the United States relationship with Israel.
Yep.
She engineered and brought about help for the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt.
Yep.
Okay, and the only one she didn't fool with, which they were just too staunch, was Jordan.
Well, here is what goes on. We see that, but we are them our rednecks that listen to Fox News and talk radio. So what they do is the whole effort is to laugh at us and make fun of them and
minimize our
and challenge their accuracy, so that ABC, NBC, CBS, Huffington Post, several other sites that can have their narrative and tell us what we're supposed to think and give us our news. And the people out there are not real smart, including me, but they don't hear any of this alternative viewpoint.
No.
Because you don't listen to Fox News. They're a joke.
right.
You
Right.
can't change
News is
it.
in competition with their worldwide wrestling.
Yeah, and you cannot turn this country around to you at least offer a genuine news to the people. And it would be nice to be able to lean it in your favor, but just a real fair and balanced news report to the general public would work wonders.
Well, you take even at Selma, they cropped George Bush out of the picture of the march across the bridge. You had Obama and you had George Bush marching across the bridge together, and the New York Times cropped that picture and left George Bush out and just focused on how great Obama was to walk across that bridge at Selma, Alabama.
I didn't know about that.
So,
Yeah, Bush was walking right along with
I
them,
knew that.
but the picture does not show.
but the picture they put in the New York Times eliminated Bush.
Well, you can't have him down there, them
Lord, no, you
brothers.
have an old hypocrite like him in there, you know, and see, that's the sort of thing you get in the newscast, you know. You can be, Fox News can be lamenting the demise of the United States military presence and the fact that we're losing in every theater of the world, and you can turn to the other channels, they'll be walking around and says,
Hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah, don't shoot, you know, and you know, there are more black people killed in motorcycle accidents every year than shot by police.
I'd say there are more fall on ice and get killed than there are shot by police.
Right, yeah.
But now, you can't hold a lamp to how many of them shoot each other.
Right. Yeah, well, they do that quite regular. So, we've got a terrible situation in Washington. You got the Aflac duck up there that goes along about with anything and does not take a stand. I think, what was it he come out with last week? something that he was trying to take a stand on. But he's about like Obama. Nobody believes him.
Well, the president has flat out told us so many lies that people just don't believe him anymore anyhow.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do. They just nobody ever points out his line except them there rednecks over on Fox
Yeah.
News and
You
stuff.
look over here in
And
the
these hillbillies
Ukraine.
sitting here.
All he had to do was to supply some anti-tank weapons, just a few weapons to those people to push back on these Russian separatists that were invading the country. Now, Putin not only has his eye on that part of the Ukraine, but he's got his part on the Balkan states, which have very little protection. They are protected by NATO, but what is NATO if we don't do nothing?
Well, I guess they have trouble starting their tanks because they need some spark plugs and they ain't got no Napa store over there. You know what I mean? I went to Napa and got me some parts, and I reckon everybody else ought to try it too.
Now, that's not the North Atlantic
Peace Association.
Strategic alliance, is it? The North Atlantic, no, it's, I wish Jerry Kidd is here. I'm going to write that down. What is it?
National
Automobile
Parts Association.
North Atlantic,
Right.
that's NASA I had, but
That's
Napa.
Napa.
North
And they
Atlantic
have big
Peach
warehouses.
Association.
Warehouses full of parts strategically located across the country. There used to be one not too far from my office in Highport, North Carolina, that serves this area here. And
You said office, you didn't say sale, did you? You said office, you didn't say sale?
yeah.
Okay.
So,
562-2529.
2526.
2526.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think.
I believe it's 2529.
I think 2526 is the mayor's office.
562-2629. That's what it is. 562-2629. That's Napa Auto Parts.
I said
Privately
25,
owned.
didn't it? 562-423-562-2629, and that's it. And I said 2529. Yeah, let's see here.
You get it? Napa
Oh, you're
Auto
close.
Parts.
562-2529.
2529. You're right to start with.
2529.
Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, I guess I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And 2526, let's
Right.
see.
2529, 2526. What is it?
2529.
Okay. All right.
Well,
I know where it's at.
2529.
Right.
Now
I know
then.
where it's at, right across from IGA on the 4-lane.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see the numbers, the phone numbers. I'm about sure that's the mayor's office. One of them I couldn't even remember it now if I had to, but
I can't remember the numbers too good. Well, I read an interesting little thing, a bill that's been sent here in the state of Tennessee.
Right.
It's about using lethal force
Right.
against venomous
Right.
snakes. Did you hear that one?
No.
what?
Well, it seems that some elected official somewhere in Tennessee fatally assaulted a copperhead. And I'm talking about a snake now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he assaulted it, and it succumbed, or it died from this attack.
From its injury.
Yeah, from its injuries. And he either posted it or done something to it, and then
There it is. County mayor's office is 2526.
2526.
Okay, sorry.
But anyhow, they brought it to his attention that he had committed a some sort of a illegal act. and so there's a law against killing venomous snakes by the TWRA or whatever. They're protected. So they rewrote the law to say that if one of these venomous serpents is endangering you or threatening you,
Right.
and I don't know whether they carry a gun or what, but if one of these venomous critters attacks you and you use lethal force on it, then it's up to the officer
Yeah.
who investigates this as to whether you'll be taken to court or not, or whether it'll go before a jury.
Well, don't that leave the law kind of open to interpretation? I don't think that'd stand up in court. I already knew that because I looked it up. The state of Tennessee has a law that don't make any sense. It's against the law to kill a snake unless it needs killing.
Yeah.
Well, who in the world is going to kill one for just out snake hunting, you know?
Well, some people consider them to be a delicacy.
Well,
I'm talking about the rattlers, but some people have been
too many times.
some
What
people.
snake meat tastes like? Like chicken?
Well, no, it's not like chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken.
It's more fish.
Huh.
They're the easiest thing to dress out that you ever did to prepare.
I think so. Just kind of like pulling the bell down.
Yeah, it's just like you take a big old rattler. It's about I'm gonna say.
You're talking about roadkill now, ain't you?
Oh yeah, of course. Well,
Yeah.
if you get caught with roadkill, you're in trouble too, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I ain't saying nothing about it because I guess it is lethal or illegal at this point in time. But anyhow, if one of these here big old rattlers happens to succumb, that he attacks somebody
Had a
or
heart
something,
attack.
yeah, and has a heart attack, I don't know whether you'd be violating the law by recycling.
That's a form of autopsy on it.
Yeah, if you perform an autopsy and recycle that meat.
Have you ever skinned a deer?
Yeah, if I ever skinned a deer,
Well, let me tell you what.
Lord.
I saw a video on YouTube where this guy went out there and I thought, well, this ain't going to work out. He pulled his head off. But he took this deer out there and he tied it by the horns. I always tied them the other way. But he tied it by the horns.
Right.
And he took a knife and went around and got a skin started. And then he took a rope and tied that to his four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And he drove off and just peeled that sucker just
Yes,
like a
sir,
banana.
buddy. You peel them just like a banana. You sure can. Yeah.
I
Easiest
found
way
out I've been
done.
doing it the wrong way all my life.
Me and another
Of course,
fella.
if I had to clean them, I couldn't get a four-wheeler in there, but I had a four-wheeler.
We.
Some people kill them legal.
I can't see killing living.
Either one of you ever eaten any eels, river eels?
No,
No, but
I
I'd
ain't
say
never
they're
seen
good. I'll bet they are.
They are. Yeah.
I bet they are.
We used to,
Yeah.
we used to grapple a lot of fish, you know.
Yeah.
I was a young boy. I'd go with my older brother-in-laws and that sort of thing. We'd grapple fish.
Yeah.
And you're always grappling an eel, you know. Snakes won't stay under the water like an eel. You reach up under the bank and you grab something. At first you take as a snake, it'd be an eel.
Well, the snake is a reptile and eel's a fish. Eel's a fish. He's got gills. Yeah.
You didn't get electrocuted? Wasn't no electric deals in there?
No, wasn't no electric deal. But you take and skin that booger up, and you pan fry him,
Yeah.
and put a little salt and pepper on him, and he's delicious.
Yeah. Well,
Now, anybody ever eat a gar? Are they any count?
Oh, I've shot a bunch of gars and caught some.
I've seen people break their bills and throw them back in the lake.
Right.
yeah.
Kind of keep them stealing bait.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
They go off and die. They can't eat.
You know, have you ever fish them?
I've caught them.
Well, I used to go out and fish for them. When the gar are running on top, you can't get anything to bite. I don't know. I reckon they.
Well, these fishermen go through. I don't guess there's open about it now, but I've seen them paddling around where they'll catch one that's been robbing their
they'll.
jugs or their trot line or something. They pick them up and break their top bill back and fish them back in the lake. Of course, they starve to death, but they won't steal them more bait.
Well, I've heard of taking prizing it open and put a stick in their mouth. You know, just prop their mouth open. But now they'll strike, but it's hard to set a hook in them.
Right.
The mouth is so hard, but you can take a piece of cloth, like a whatever, and you hook them, but you don't hook them with a hook.
Right.
You get them in a kind of a yarn type thing.
Right.
Take a piece of frayed
Right.
whatever and catch them. And there's a fellow telling me one time that he caught oodlums of bullfrogs with a piece of red cloth. He said he'd take a little piece of red cloth and fly fish them
Right.
to catch bullfrogs.
Right.
But anyhow, back on this lethal force against snakes, they
Why would you want to just wound a snake?
well, anyhow, the fellow that did this, I think he had due cause because it was in his backyard, and I think it was frequented by children or whatever.
Right.
You know, you don't want
Right.
these critters hanging around the house, because sooner or later, let me change that. We used to have one that stayed at the shop.
That what?
Copperhead. He stayed at the shop,
Right.
and
He wouldn't have stayed at my shop long.
Well,
I got to change the movie.
out the old shop. You know what I'm talking about out there? And everybody, they didn't have facilities, you know what I'm talking about? And people go behind the shop there if they had to take care of some little minor business.
When you got back there and went smelling cucumbers, you decided
Oh,
time to
I'll
go
tell you
somewhere
what, I went back there and you always watch. And you can smell them cucumbers in the middle of summer.
And then
And they may have been several of them in there.
I'm sure there was.
But anyhow, you go back there and watch that grass shake.
Yeah.
And but they was in there. Them
What were you
copperheads
telling me
was in
about
there.
somebody's done something in their yard? I missed
Well,
that.
that was what this elected official, this copperhead was in his backyard.
Oh, okay.
And anyhow, that's what got this law changed or whatever. But anyhow, there's another one.
Wasn't the governor, was he?
I don't know. We're getting off on some stuff here that probably don't mean anything, but
Yeah, it ain't
they've
gonna make
also-
no difference. Them there crooks in Washington, no way. So
Well-
no difference.
the part in Washington don't mean, well, anyhow.
We use our own private email around here, folks.
Yeah, buddy, we don't use that .gov. They've changed the way that they fine you for taking game illegal. And what they've done now, they've broke it down into, if you take a doe out of season, take one illegal, it costs you X much, it costs you more. Or if you kill a sow bear or a boar bear, there's different prices, but it gets down to a deer, the buck, they charge you, I believe it's $75 a point. In other words, they got a minimum, but yet if you kill a 10-pointer, I think
$750.
$750.
I'd dehorn that sucker for a cat.
Yeah, cut some, yeah. But anyhow, I don't know exactly. I read the thing and I can't remember all the numbers, but they're changing the way they do it. And one sex will cost you more than the other, and all this stuff.
Well, you know, if you kill a hawk that's killing your chickens, it's $250 fine. But you can go buy a permit to kill a hawk that's going to kill your chickens, and you can kill all the hogs you want to.
Well, yeah, $100. Is it a permit? It's $100.
I don't know what it is. I think maybe $250. But if they're out there trying to protect hawks and not raise money, then somebody's got something screwy going on here. It seems to me like it's just a money game one way or the other.
Well, there's money involved in all of it. Everything, I don't care what it is. Our judicial system runs off of money. They have to have
and
money.
our politicians
And
run off money
this is true too. You know, getting back to where Hillary and the Clinton fund is taking millions and millions of dollars from like Saudi Arabia and all these Middle East countries that have no respect whatever for the women. They treat them, I've heard some stuff that just sounds outrageous that they do to the women. They treat them, I'll tell you what, ain't no way anybody treat their hunting dog that way, in my
The good
opinion.
thing is
But
you have an ugly woman, nobody won't laugh at you because they don't know what she looks like.
well, but here's the thing of it. When these countries put in this type of money, they're looking for something. And they ain't looking, in my opinion, to be friendly with Hillary, because or in my opinion, you know what
they
I'm
ain't
saying?
gonna get none of Hillary's money.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. That ain't what they're they ain't giving her money to get friendly with her. Let me
Right.
put it that way. They're giving her money
If it was
for
Condoleezza
favors.
White, you remember old Ariel Sharon had an absolute fixation on her.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. But these, whenever people go to vote, and I don't know whether it means anything to them or not, but this taking money in this manner, they ought to stop and think of what whoever receives this money is going to give in return. And
They're
I've
going to give nothing.
That's
They're
right.
Going to
They're-
give some of your stuff away.
That's absolutely correct. It's just like I was telling you about locally here, how the people do it. They're always, somebody will say, oh boy, he done me a favor. Whenever they say that, I like to ask, whose money was they using to do
Right.
you a favor?
Exactly right.
So, but anyhow, that's, there's always something going on, for sure. And I didn't get to read much of the paper today. I've been
That's a habit I broke a long time ago.
reading the paper.
That and watching television. That's the reason I
Well-
don't know more about what's going on.
Watching television is just about a waste of time, I guess, other than this show here. And it's not on TV; it's on computer.
Well, we've got a lot more talent here than they've got in our other shows.
Unbridled talent.
But there's one thing we ain't got.
What's that?
We ain't got our own ambulance service, but we know a guy that does.
Well, I'm sitting there waiting on them.
You think you may
I'm
need
just
to
an
haul
accident waiting to happen.
Well, I went to sleep last week and nobody called us, so I guess we're all right. 562
9370.
9370 for the vital care of Campbell County.
Now don't call that number if you need auto parts,
No.
but if you need a ride to the hospital or you need some other type of medical transportation, you call Vital Care. It's the only company that I know of around here that when you call them ain't going to cost any tax money for their services. And you're going to get what you pay for.
562-9370 for all your ambulance needs.
Right, for all your old
Not the hardest concrete
Mater
known to
juice
man or something like
drinking.
that.
problems that you have.
We used to have a little company that advertised with us, had the hardest concrete known to man. We've settled for an ambulance service now. In case
Yeah.
you drop something on your
Right.
toe out there pouring concrete.
Right, I have become a member of the TAA, Tomato Juice Anonymous of America.
Well, fellas,
That certainly did put a crimp in your style there for a day or two, didn't it?
I wonder, you know how many people die every year in the United States from food poisoning?
From Mater Juice.
No, from food poisoning.
A lot
I'd say
of them.
there's a lot of them.
About 30,000.
Well, I heard a
One
statistic.
of the leading causes of death is food
Yeah.
poisoning.
A statistic that they threw out. They're always throwing out how many people get killed by guns or this or that or
Right.
whatever, and there was an article come out somewhere said that there was 77,000 people per year in America that die from going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
that's no joke.
Yeah, I know.
From
Infection.
stuff that they get at the hospital. My wife's mother had what was the ailment? We took her to an emergency room here. Oh, it's been back a few weeks ago. She'd had a mini stroke, and the doctor there, we took her, like I say, to the emergency room, and this was at Oak Ridge. And the doctor had very good bed manner and our bedside whatever. But anyhow, he done his thing, and he come back and he told her. He said, "You know, there's not anything out of the ordinary. This is a mini stroke or whatever." Said we can put you in a hospital, and said we can run a whole bunch of tests on you, scans and whatever else. But he said, here's the thing. He said we have a lot of sick people here. And he said, you know, we're not going to do anything other than do these tests, but said you're going to be in an environment where there are sick people
Now,
and
let me-
give her a decision.
Let me
you know.
run something by you. How many times you been in a doctor's office or a dentist office or any sort of an examining room or something, and you look and on the wall is a tongue depressor taped to the wall with a piece of tape? And it's a requirement of law that they have that up there in case of emergency and they have to use a tongue depressor. They've got it there ready to go. Now I want to ask you,
How many germs?
in the course of the day, how many people go in there with all sorts of ailments and fart and sneeze and everything else, and it says on
Airborne.
that tongue depressor, you go in there and they cram one of them tongue depressors down your neck, you're dead as hell. You ever thought about it?
Lordy. Well,
You know they don't ever decontaminate them
Well,
things.
you know the latest push, don't you?
What's that?
They have determined that more children die from falling into 5-gallon buckets than are killed by guns.
We're going to have to ban 5-gallon
They're
buckets.
going to
then.
ban 5-gallon buckets. You
Well,
get a
make-
4.5 gallon.
Anybody
you
makes a bucket, you'll have to put a ladder in it
Yeah.
so
Oh,
the
fellas?
kids can get out.
Right,
Did
yeah.
you know they rescinded the ban on green tip ammunition?
you're kidding me.
No, sir.
What happened?
I don't know. They backed off.
Well, that's amazing.
Well,
The
people would get riled up over more things here. They'd back off a lot of things.
well, fellas, we're running a little short on time, but I made a
See, ATF temporarily pulls proposal.
temporarily.
Yeah, I know it's temporary.
Oh,
They're gonna
yeah.
slide it through later.
Yeah. That'll come up.
It's banned after getting, delayed after getting over 80,000 comments,
Yeah.
but seems to leave the door open.
Leave the door
You know,
open.
like it,
yeah.
my own private email, and I'll talk on.
Yeah.
whatever
And
got.
you ain't going to see it without I say you do.
Yeah.
Well, that temporarily thing is a face-saving method. That's all it is. They're just
Yeah.
saving face by having to back down.
Well, they took over the internet. They'll take your ammunition for long.
Fellers, I've done some thinking, and I made a comment, but I didn't explain myself about something the other day. They made the comment.
Something else to say about
Go
that,
ahead,
ain't
go
you?
right
No,
ahead.
No, go
Well,
ahead.
they said that they're not going to come and take your guns up. Said they're not going to come out here and take your guns. And I agreed with the guy. I said they're not. I said no, I didn't say you. I said people they won't come and get their guns. They'll come and surrender their weapons. People will surrender their weapons. And if you don't think this is true, you look at all these what they call buybacks, where people go in here and they got no questions asked. They say, you bring us this weapon, we'll give you so much money.
Even
all
if
right.
You did steal it. from
That's
somebody
right. I
else.
don't care where you stole it. Don't care how many people you killed with it. You just bring it to us and we'll give you money. All right. Or we'll give you a ball ticket to go to this ball game or something like that. Okay? Now, let's say they offered you $1,000 for a $100 weapon.
Right.
Okay, you turn that weapon in. Okay, that money is your money, or they just printed it or made it up. They can take up a large percentage of the weapons just by doing this trick. Now, this community right here, or most communities that I know of, you could take I'm going to say a platoon of well-trained, or maybe even a squad of well-trained military, and you could take over La Follette or
If
this
you
area
wanted it.
if you wanted it. Well, I'm talking about to control people. There is a simple way to control a community, very simple. And you don't have to do nothing other than go up and touch a few buttons on a computer. And you can bring this community and just about any other, you can bring any big city to its knees. You don't go out here and go house to house. If you want to take up weapons, you have them bring them weapons to you. You set you out a check station out here so far out from the collection area, and when that weapon comes to that check station, it must be disabled into the fact that either the bolts took out of it, or it's got a snap tie through the action, or some way. No clip in it, or whatever else. and they can take up these weapons by any means. First of all, by buying them. You buy up so many, and then this and this and this and this, and then you say there's a band on them, and you get so many more, and you keep going down the line till you get to the hardcore people who won't surrender a weapon. And whenever you get down to some of them, they'll be what do you say, neutralized.
Let me run something back. You fellas said that that the president, by executive order, required all that there spent ammunition,
brass, right,
yeah,
to be deformed.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be destroyed; it had to be deformed to where it could not be reloaded.
So they've pulled the ban on commercial production of this year ammunition, but I've not heard anything about them pulling the ban on these here spent shells.
No, sir.
And that right there that's a lot gone that people don't even realize. I never even heard of it. You guys mentioned.
Okay. Spent military brass has been reloaded for untold years and years. When I was a little fella, a little kid, I had a relative who was in the military. Right. He had a 38 round.
Right.
And he said, look, this is a military reload.
Right.
And I said, how do you tell? And he said, right here where you put the primer in it, it's got a little red ring around it. And he said, that's how you tell if it's a military or if it's been reloaded.
Okay.
But anyhow, this was done by executive order. And I checked up on executive orders. We're about out of time, I believe. But anyhow, there's never been a president that's been elected after another president that has went in and blanket removed his executive orders.
Right.
When
And what they don't want us to know is Congress can override the executive order anytime they'll vote to oppose it.
They don't. And does it not take a 60 or 2/3 majority to do that?
I don't know.
But anyhow,
the story is they like for that stuff to get done. Somebody
Yeah.
to take blame for it.
okay, all the executive orders that, let's say, Bush or Clinton or anybody put into action, the next president, all he does is say yay, and all of them stay in place.
Yeah.
He adds his to them. The next president says yay. They don't. I have never heard of an executive order being turned around by a president.
Gotta go, folks.
Yeah, folks, we gotta go. We'll see you Saturday, 4 p.m. WLAF.com and UGTV.com and 1450 AM and 100.9 FM.